Hey everybody, welcome to episode 4 of the Sedan build. We're gonna go ahead and continue on the interior. So with that, what I want to do is get the front windshield out, because we got the rear one out in the earlier episode, and I want to get the front one out. In order to do that, I gotta get the windshield wipers off. So let's go ahead and start by popping the hood open. Give us a little more access. And really all you need is either a flat screwdriver or one of these handy picks like I was talking about. And we'll go ahead and get started. So it's really easy to get the windshield wiper arms off in general. These are really pitted, so once we get this off, they'll go in the box, and then we can sand these down, put some trim paint on these, and it'll look fresh too. So that's a really good positive. These caps are plastic, so be careful in pulling these off. You don't want to just yank up and break them. You know, they're still like a little bit over 10 bucks, so you want to save yourself the money. You can use one of these or use a screwdriver just to pry up, but this one's pretty loose. So you just want to, once you get it up, kind of squeeze, pull out. You can see the little cutouts, and they just go around that, and then this pivots up and down. Now, to get this nut off, all you need is a 13 millimeter. Just put it on there. That's it, and then you just take it off. One little nut, raise this up, and that's it. This has splits here, so that's where that is. So same thing on the passenger side. If you need some leverage, obviously you can use a screwdriver or just pick it up with the pick. Didn't break, all good. There's your nut, put your 13 millimeter on, get it loose. Unscrew the nut, that's all it is. As I mentioned before, this paint is patinaed, screwed up. I don't really care. I'm setting tools on top, but if this was nice paint, you want to have a nice tray or something to cover it so you're protecting your paint. Getting back to the arm, all you need to do to get it off, lift up and pick up. That's it. Same thing to put it back on. You're just pushing down and lowering it into place. They are different passengers, the driver's side, so if you're not familiar or you don't have another E30 to reference, you want to, you know, bend it down, maybe on the bottom side, right or left, or passenger driver. That's really all it is to it. So one thing I did want to mention is a lot of times these cars will get rust in this header area here, running over there, and sometimes customers will come in and they'll complain about their wiper systems not working right. And that's the same thing I noticed here. You see how that's got movement? It's not supposed to have movement like that. There's a seal here. If you lift up this plastic cap, see that nut there? That nut over time will come loose. What you want to do is you want to unscrew that nut, replace the seal that goes here, and then retighten it, and that'll prevent water from getting in there and prevent rust. The same thing goes on this side here underneath this plastic, this garnish here. I'm going to go ahead and remove the garnish later as well, sand it down, repaint it so it looks nice and fresh. But when it comes to rust here, that's what you need to do. So in getting back to the windshield, what we want to do is we want to get this locker out. That's the center portion. This has been in here quite a while, so it might be kind of wedged into place, but we're going to take our trusty wedge tool here and shove it in here in between. Kind of rub it like that. You want to wedge it underneath, pry up. Might want to watch your eyes. Sometimes this will break and kind of splinter out. But the first thing I'd like to do is just kind of run it across. You can hear it snapping. All I'm doing is running it through and getting it loose. And the center lock is still attached, so you want to kind of pull that off so you're not bending these little guys, because they're just really brittle. And believe it or not, these are like 20-something dollars, so you want to save yourself the money, you want to reuse it. So now that we've got a little piece of it, you can literally just pull up on it. Should start working its way up. It can't crack, and then you'll have to pull up another piece. So if you go slow, see, it broke off. No big deal. Kind of work your way all the way around. Just working our way around. See that piece broke, no big deal. Since I'm not going to be reusing this, and technically you don't want to be able to reuse this because this is so old, it's coming apart. It's not really doing its job. Okay, that's step 2. Got the locker out. Next step, you want to take your pick again. You kind of want to run it along the side of the seal just to release it. Front windshield is a lot easier to remove than the back, so it's not that critical. This windshield I'm not really concerned about because, as I mentioned in the previous episode, it has yellowed over time. So if you take this glass and you put it alongside a brand new glass, you'll see that this is actually yellow. It's hard to notice, but it is. And so putting a brand new glass in there, it's much clearer, you can see better. It's gonna not have all these rock chips, it's not gonna have stuff that it won't clean off, it won't have scratches. And honestly, a brand new windshield is about $180. For me, I'm driving the car, I wanna see what's on the road, especially at night. A brand new windshield is a good investment. Now, $180, that's gonna be an aftermarket windshield, it's not gonna be a BMW one. If you are really concerned about a BMW glass, you have to go to BMW directly, and they are expensive. They're about $400, so about double the price. So that's your choice there. I've used plenty of the aftermarket ones. They work just fine. On a really high-end restoration, that's say $100,000. Of course, BMW windshield makes more sense. On a car like this, where I'm trying to save money, and this is really for fun or for a daily, $180 windshield sounds just great. So I pretty much released the windshield from its seal. This seal isn't torn anywhere, it's just really dirty. So I'm gonna try to save it. If yours is torn, or it's been re-glued, or something's been going on with it that's funny, or it's shrunk, that happens too, you may wanna look into buying a new one, and then you can just use a razor blade and just cut it all off. 10 seconds, the windshield's out. I'm not doing that, I'm gonna try to save it. So with that, let's try to get this windshield out. Now, the windshield can crack in this position. I'm not really concerned about that because I'm going to replace it. But we're going to try and save it just so I can show you how that works. Okay. I'm going to use the pick, kind of stab it on the inside too. Release it from the inside seal. Because this is one big seal, it's like a C channel. So we want to release it on both sides. Same thing from last episode. I'm using the quick release agent, and all I'm doing is just spraying inside here. That'll help the glass kind of slide out of place. Okay, and that dries up clear, so you have not much to worry about there. And I'm going to stick one tool here. I'm going to stick another tool from the back side. You kind of see, see that? Windshield cracked. So like I told you, I'm not really concerned. If this was a really nice windshield, typically it would be a new one. It wouldn't be really, you know, it wouldn't be such a big deal on the new windshield because it hasn't sat there for 30 years. This has been in here for 30 years, so it's more brittle, if that makes sense. New windshields are more tempered and they're less likely to break. So hopefully that makes sense. So now that it's cracked, I'm not really babying it. I'm just gonna kind of go ham on it. Make myself a spot here. A lot of you I know right now are cringing watching this, but it is what it is. Oh no, cracked the windshield. Probably wear eye protection. I'm so used to doing this. It doesn't really bother me, it doesn't faze me, but a lot of you probably worried about this. Okay. Okay, and gloves wouldn't hurt either, so you protect your hands. I've got a ton of calluses, so kind of immune to it. When you get the corners out, you're really just lifting the windshield, and then I'm gonna go a little bit more so I can wedge it up a little bit more, and then I'm just gonna yank out and come out. Okay. This is really dry. Glass is made out of multiple pieces. Sometimes we'll pull glass out and you can actually see it separating into multiple layers, and that's the time that we get a customer that says, you know, when windshield's gotten really blurry, well, it's because it's separating. So there you go, windshield's out. Windshield's out, we're going to go ahead and pull the seal out. You just want to kind of pull down. It's a good seal, just needs to be cleaned. Same thing, a lot of pet hair, debris and dirt, whatever else is in there. So I'm gonna save it and use it again just after cleaning. There's no cuts in it. It's actually still really rubbery. It's not brittle. So yeah, we're gonna use it. So one thing to point out, you can see a little hole there. There's this same hole on that side. When you go to put your seal back, make sure that your seal lines up, because there's the same hole on your seal, and you want to make sure that these drains are working. Otherwise, you'll start developing a rust here. This piece of plastic, kind of gooey. It doesn't come on all E30s, mostly on early E30s, but you want to leave that there. That helps with bonding of the glass. And yeah. All right, next step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the passenger, the driver's seat. We're going to go ahead and remove the rear seats, and I'll guide you through those steps. We'll also go ahead and start pulling the door panels off, and then we'll start on the headliner. And I'll try to film as much as I can in doing the headliner. There's a heck of a lot of you that have asked me to do that, and so I'm going to try to do it as detailed as I can. Okay, so in order to remove your seat, you want to go ahead and slide it all the way back. That'll give you access to the nuts right here on the front. And then after you've removed those, you can push the seat forward and access the ones in the back. For the front, you need a 17mm with an extension. Same thing on the back, but an open end wrench so you can access the hardware a lot easier. Okay, so this is what the front hardware looks like. Just two nuts. At the rear, I've already removed one. It's a bolt. Same size, 17mm. Hard to access because it's right there. So that's why you use an open-ended wrench. Okay, so with the two front nuts off and the two bolts in the back, since this is a sedan, the seat belt mounts right there. If this was a coupe, the seat belt would mount to the body of the car. Convertibles mount to the body of the car as well. So you just want to take this off. Same thing, you're going to use a 17. And then we're going to follow the same procedure for the passenger side. Now, something I forgot to mention, guys, is in the front where the front nuts are, right here, there should be these plastic caps. All of these are just beauty covers. So if your car doesn't have it, it's not that critical. Like the driver's side didn't have it, the passenger side does. So I forgot to mention that, but all of these are just beauty covers. You're just going to yank them off and then get your 17 and take the nuts off.
What's up, guys? It's Kevin from CAtuned here, and I'm gonna show you how to take off your rear seats on the E30. First, you just want to go in here, get nice and comfortable. You want to be as gentle as possible, and then you just want to do that, yank them off.
Boom, that's all it takes? You just yank up. Wow.
And if I could do it, you could do it also. There's nothing to it.
Yeah, so that's the bottom cushion, guys. It just really, it goes underneath here, sandwiches underneath here, and then it just, these guys right here, that's what holds it. So you just yank up. The same process is to install this back in. You just wedge it in and push down. Now the upper cushion is just about as easy. So the rear seat, you're gonna come down here to the side, remove this little flap here, and there's your boy right there, little 10 millimeter. Now loosen this one up. All it is that. There's your trusty 10 millimeter. You're gonna unscrew that side, and all you're gonna do to remove this after that is just yank up. That's all you gotta do is yank up. The seat comes up, and you pull towards yourself, and that's it. Okay, the rear seat is out. See a lot of dog hair, cat hair. I might just go ahead and throw this piece, little insulation carpeting out, because the seat covers it, and I don't think I can clean all this junk out. The main carpet, yeah, we're going ahead and clean that. Now the rear speaker shelf, how you want to remove that is the third brake light. You start with that. This rear section, you pull up on it to slide it off. Hard to do with one hand, but let me show you. You pull this section off and pull up. Pull up. Slides on these little sliders there. Then you got to separate this from the base. There's clips here on the back side. You press them to release, and there it goes. And then you disconnect your connector here for the wiring harness, and you can lift the panel up. Now you got to be careful not to yank too hard, because you can rip the speaker wiring. I've got new speakers I'm going to put in here, but I still want to save it in case I've got a car or a client that wants something really cheap in the meantime. I don't even know if these speakers are good, but either way, you want to try to save it, especially if you're putting stuff back. And then also, these plastic clips just pop up. That holds your seat belts there. And the seat belt disconnects here at the bottom. That's your bolt right there. You disconnect that, and you'll be able to feed it through this hole here. All right, guys, so I forgot to mention for the seat belts, it's also a 17, so you've already got your 17 out, or from earlier removing the seats. It's the same tools, so don't need any more. Disconnected the speaker wires, pull the rear panel off, and guess what? We found more here. So the next step, what we're gonna do is just vacuum up everything up. Do a really good vacuuming. Now I'm not gonna wash it just yet, and that's because we gotta do the headliner. So we're gonna be in and out of the car, and it'll just get dirty again. Plus, after we do the headliner, I'll show you how to remove the sides. The Sedan has these sides here, the coupes don't. The coupes are a little different, but that's not the point. I'll show you how to properly remove that front header panel. A lot of guys will break that, and there's really no reason to break it. It's super easy to remove. And then we'll show you how to do the headliner. So stay tuned. Okay, so it really doesn't matter what vacuum you're gonna use. Obviously we have a shop vac. Pretty inexpensive, rigid. We've got the simple wand here, attachment here on the end. But what I wanted to show you is we've got some of these pet hair aids. This one's fureel.com. This helps with picking up the pet hair. So as you come across with the suction, it'll just suck it up. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have pets, and this will help clean that up. And this is the initial clean, so it'll help pick that up. so hopefully there's a bunch of little things there. I kind of went through it kind of fast, so forgive me if I missed a step or if I said something wrong. I'm just really trying to get you the most information as possible in the little amount of time that I'm going to put in a video, because I don't want the video to be an hour long. It's going to get boring. You're going to be like skip and skip over. So hopefully you like this. What we're going to do is we're going to leave the headliner for a separate episode. So most likely that'll be episode number 5, and most likely it'll be next week. So you're not going to have to wait for it that long. I'm going to go ahead and finish this vacuum job, and then I'll see you next week. Ciao.